It's time! It's time.
There are a few big ticket items that players want in Sims 4, like cars, spiral staircases, and a create a world tool. We all know this. It's not new. We've been wanting that since 2014. That's why I looked on YouTube, Reddit, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and even Quora for these 10 weird things Simmers want. And you know what? They're not even that weird. Without further ado, here are some quote-unquote weird requests that aren't really that strange after all. Being able to move gates on the fence freely isn't that unusual. It would actually be quite handy. I think everyone has had this happen in their build, am I right? It's frustrating. And now you gotta redesign this area or delete the fence and your flippin' dream build is now ruined because of this one silly thing. Being able to move gates around on a fence similar to how windows work on a wall would help just a wee bit in preventing me from rage quitting. Talking about rage quitting, the gallery thumbnails get me going, and not in a good way. After hours and hours, maybe even days and days, of building your gorgeous, unique, creative build, it's represented by this. It's crazy that in 2022, we don't have more options for the thumbnails. It's a shame, especially if you actually want people to download your build. I think we should be able to have additional options and camera angles, even if it's limited to the first picture. Options. Although we have limited options for certain things, gallery thumbnails, we do actually have quite a bit for others. For example, meals our Sims can cook. Despite having tons of choices in the base game, and through updates and DLC, I end up forcing my Sim to cook the same thing every day. And it may or may not be one of the first choices at the top of the list. I know I can't be the only one who does this. Does anyone else feed their Sims the same thing every day? Wouldn't it be cool if your Sims start to refuse to eat certain things if they ate it too many times in a row? I would do that if I was a Sim. In fact, sometimes I'm straight up like, no pizza, to my fiance when we're trying to figure out what to order in because I'm sick of pizza. Roast me as much as you want in the comments. Pizza is amazing, but pizza too many times in a row makes my tummy sick. Anywho, going back to The Sims, maybe the option is grayed out or they just straight up refuse to cook it. It would definitely force you to ensure they're eating various things throughout the week. Something I despise when I'm building would be the curtains. They're either too small, too big, too ugly, or they don't fit with the style of the build. However, let's say we've settled for a curtain like this one, and you've continued on with your life. But hey, wouldn't it be awesome if that curtain can actually open or close? What if your Sim had the ability to use the curtains throughout live mode? That would be awesome because then you could decide whether or not certain curtains stay open or closed and what looks better with your build and your style. And it would be great because now you don't have to decide while you're building whether or not the curtain you want is an open one or a closed one. You could do that throughout live mode. An additional build item that might seem unusual to include would be light switches. I've seen many players express their desire for light switches. Personally, I think that if they were to ever include light switches, that they should just be for appearance. It might be too micromanagey. If your characters had to turn on and off the lights using the light switch every time they walked into the room. On the other hand, being able to include them in the design of the room would add a bit of realism. I don't know about you, but I love making builds look as realistic as possible, and this would help. Another realistic element that players want would be realistic cell phones. As of right now, cell phones are just a pop-up menu, so your Sim can call people or services or play games or take selfies and stuff like that. They work anywhere, anytime, and are never dead. Unlike my real-life cell phone, I swear every time I look at it, it's under 20%. Wouldn't it be crazy if you had to charge your cell phone in-game? What if, in very particular locations, you lose connection? What about phone bills? There are many different elements that could be included to make Sims 4 phones feel realistic, like having a cracked screen or needing to replace it, getting different models, or phone plans. Like I said, There are tons of different elements that could be implemented for realistic cell phones. Talking about phones, can we chat about something that's just completely missing? Home phones or landline phones are not included in Sims 4, despite it appearing in the other 3 Sim games. Although, who could blame them for excluding them? I haven't used one since, maybe 2012? Maybe? I honestly can't remember the last time I used one. To take it a step further, I maybe use the wall-mounted phone jack as a place to hang my apron in my kitchen. Either way, having the option in-game would be nice. It'd make sense if you were playing a family or someone who's a bit older and who would prefer a landline. Your Sim's clothing got wet? Easy fix. Your attire doesn't match the vibe? No problem. Want to change out of your swimsuit? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. No matter where your Sims are, no matter what clothes they need to change into, they're able to do so. It's convenient, that's for sure, but it's not realistic. That's why some players wish that they would implement a clothing changing situation type thing, similar to Sims 2, where you have to change your clothes at a dresser or change room. It's certainly more challenging to have it that way. Something that isn't too weird would be cuddling under the stars or, well, cloud watching. This was another thing that was possible in Sims 2. It's only weird because you could do this interaction anywhere. You really had to be mindful of where you selected to do it, or else you get instances like this, or this, or this. Despite that, this interaction could be very cute and a good way to maintain or increase your friendship and romance relationship with your partner or crush. Is this one weird? I don't think so. I guess it's more so unusual because it hasn't really been done. A routine planner tool feels like a need. Imagine being able to set routines for individual Sims for the mornings, afternoons, evenings, or for particular days of the week. I imagine this tool would be very useful, so you don't have to actively get them to do some mundane things, like going to the toilet. It would also be handy if you wanted your Sim to do a hobby or a side hustle or something creative like painting each day. Having things scheduled seems like such a good idea. It would allow for you to have routines like your Sim sleeps from 11 p.m. to 8 a.m. every day, or your child Sim does their homework every day at 5 p.m. This tool just makes sense. Not weird at all.
She's really good.
You might have noticed that I have a Patreon for my YouTube channel now. If you're able to support me through Patreon, it would mean the world. I have this idea for a video that I think would be pretty cool. Maybe even a little
cuckoo banana.
But I will have to make a big purchase to make it possible. So yeah, if you want exclusive perks like early access to videos, polls, and community posts, and your name in the credits, then you should check it out. Thank you for watching. I can't wait to talk to you again very soon. Bye!